hear from Nikita Ladoshkin, Development Manager of PT Container Security from Positive Technologies. I see that a lot of colleagues have come up to hear from you and support you. So, is it true that the doors into IT are now closed? Hi all. Let's skip the ado and get down to it. Why has it become harder to start working in IT relative to 10 years ago? I'll give you some real-life examples and throw in a couple of memes as well. Why am I qualified to speak about this? Well, I'm professionally trained in information security. I'm both a bachelor and a master's. It's a thing in Russia. I learn a lot. Well, not that I learn a lot, I wish I learned a lot. I used to be a coder, a team lead. I had to change hats. So I had to learn new stuff a lot. And I continue to do that. Then I teach a lot. I had my course on Python. I enjoy that greatly. It was offline, online. I participated in Intel initiatives to engage more women in IT. There was this campaign, but this was a long time ago. So, if you can do it yourself, you can learn it by teaching it. As a masochist, I'm also keen on pro bono mentoring to help someone ease into IT if I see that that person is a good person. And then I'm a tool, actually. I don't know anything, I can do anything. I'll give you a lot of fake quotes, because that's the best educational aid. So, if you want to become an IT specialist or any specialist in any occupation, at the beginning of any course, I always say that you have to accept until you retire, you'll have to feel utterly incompetent. You'll make a typo and you'll be looking for it for 3 days, but then, once you've found it, you'll see that it's very evident. Admit your mistakes, own up to them, ask for help, accept that you'll have to make deep dives. I saw a lot of people give up on IT because it's daily stress, because you're making mistakes, your bugs are stupid, you don't know how to solve something, especially when it's given to you as a task. I also say that I'm a tool because most gear conversations that I've had resulted in everybody admitting to having an imposter system. That's my thing, so don't do that. Right? And then, if you're being told that I'm a self-made man, from early childhood I knew that I wanted to become an IT person, become a founder of a new Google or Microsoft. Don't believe such people if they pitch their courses like that. It's a type of grandstanding. And then you need to always remember the survival bias. Most people know what it is, but I'll still go through it. You expect success, having seen it in other examples, where people speak about their achievements and how they've gotten there. And you usually hear it from a person who've made it. The most obvious example, or the original example of how this happens, was when during the war, a mathematician was tasked with calculate the best configuration of armor for a bomber. And then it would seem that you'd have to reinforce armor in the parts of the plane that got the most damage after the plane returned to the airfield. But the truth is, even if it's counterintuitive, you need to protect the things that weren't damaged in the planes that were able to return after a fight. If the vital parts were damaged, it wouldn't go back to the airfield, it would crash. Another example of this is where you look at Steve Jobs and Bill Gates, dropouts, highly successful, and their lack of diploma or degree didn't prevent them from succeeding. Well, I don't recommend this. They dropped out from Harvard of all things, and you might have dropped out from some small college. So they are not hustlers. They are not all about success for its sake. Here is life expectancy of a person in IT. It's a timeline of 30 years. At 3 years of age, you'd need to apply as a middle developer, or at 5 years of age. If you want to become a Go developer to get higher pay, I think at 5 you can expect 1 million in compensation monthly. Then you have some years to become a CTO or a founder until you are 18, some major global firm, right? You've passed that milestone, and then at 23, you can get committed to an institution. Having passed a short course of treatment, I suggest that you go into farming, beehives or geese. A nice thing to do. I think that's the ideal image of success, but in life it's always different. My personal example is irrelevant because I did this 10 years ago. In my second year of university, when I wanted to earn some money, to not depend on my parents, I did a lot of interviews that were available to me. So this took quite a long time. I failed more than 5 interviews for sure, maybe a dozen. And I was desperate to get employed. I wrote a course thesis for the students, and I developed a Tetris for consoles for 500 rubles, 700 lines of code. Unfortunately, I lost the code. Then I was first gainfully employed when I went into another interview as a junior, maybe an intern even, and showed them the source code for my Tetris. It was C+. While I was interviewing for Java, and then in 3 days they told me to learn Python. Anyway, not the point. That's what got me employed. And the HR person called me myself. I had a resume where I had just 3 lines, no experience, but the HR person reached out to me myself. This will never happen to you. It's a thing of the past. There is some more relevant example. This doesn't work. Colleagues. Okay, back online. A bit more relevancy. Let's say you trained in liberal arts, then you'll be employed in some community center. Great job, but it doesn't pay. And this can seem like a dead end for some. So you decide to roll into IT. And it doesn't make sense to train without getting employed. So you decide to learn the basics and become a tester assessor. It's not a real tester, it's more of a primitive job, but you'll be able to write software tester on your resume. This will get you an interview or an internship maybe with the promise of employment. You'll do a couple of months of training, You'll do the internship, you'll be a junior, and then in a couple of years, the person got employed at another company who never knew that they were trained in liberal arts, got employed as a proper QA engineer. 3 to 4 years of hard effort, learning in parallel with your job, it all worked out well. But that's really hard. Well, if you are around 28, so it's time for you to retire, there's an example for you. Trying to become an IT specialist, even if you graduated a long time ago. It's even more challenging. The person wandered around, tried to start a business, but then decided to become an IT person. They enrolled in a very expensive course that commits to get you employed. It was expected to be completed in 6 months. Person wanted to do that instead of 12 months. And then they wanted to start working, but it didn't work. They took a year to complete the course. Then, after a couple dozen of interviews, they were turned out by everybody. But having broadened their horizons, or being just a paranoid person, they discovered information security, which is understaffed. There are internships.
So there are internships, and there's not enough people. They want to hire people. There's like not 100 people for a position, so we didn't achieve success yet, but actually we can succeed. It looks like we can be successful. So you just spend, 3 hours a day besides mortgage and everything. So what would the wolves say? So, be hardcore. Try to be applying everywhere. And you don't have to suffer. As Buddha said, the pain is inevitable, but the suffering is optional. And this is great. So out of all these complicated ways, what are the decisions? What can we get out of this all? How can we get into a well-paying job? I see only one option. Join my course, 2 weeks, from 0 to team lead in 2 weeks. Because you asked for it, because there are not enough spaces there, and because of the payment scheme that allows you to finance your whole education process. But actually, of course, do practice. It can be a survivor error, but if you have half a year of some strange experience on your resume that has high chance of being just invented, and the person showing his real product, maybe he was even doing it for himself, maybe just not and it's not a to-do list, that's something more complicated, then I would definitely have a look at a person creating their own products. So create your content, create your code, try to hack the post of Russia. Do everything that you like, learn, look beyond the default books and what the default things tell you. And if you learn Go, for example, look at Proverbs. 90% of seniors cannot answer those questions on the interview. So look deeper how it works inside of itself, as Strugatsky said. So what is under the hood, in the computer, in the programming language, in terms of security? with a network, if you are there, you are much better than those initial learners. And of course, keep trying. Probability theory gives you a definite answer. Even if the percent of success is very low, chance for success is very low, you might still be lucky if you go through 1,000 interviews rather than 10 interviews. So be sure to not to stop is a very important thing in my opinion. What are the anti-patterns? First of all, don't be a wolf. The quotes of the wolves are okay, but the attempt to, pursue all the achievements, success, changing the job every half a year, line on your resume, it's very hard, very easy to detect. We have people, even communities on the internet that would, tailor you to specific jobs, not to the interviews, not to the specific jobs. Don't do it. I don't believe in this. They will drink all your juices, maybe they will motivate you for 3 days, and then, you'll get to a funny house. In the search for the job, ChatGPT might help, but many people would already have, their peripheral vision detecting those things, so not recommend. And of course, respect for yourself is important, but not with your first proposal. Agree to everything, and I would definitely recommend to take any job that suits you at least minimally. Not a 100% recipe, but to increase your chances, there are 3 key points that would help you a lot. First of all, don't apply for the interviews per se. Join the internships. There's a lot of them. Yes, the competition is high. You need to know something, you need to learn something, you need to do a lot, but it's a great option. Internship in positive technologies, it works very well. It would be strange if I recommend you some others, but about this one I know a lot. It's tough. There's a lot of pain there. There's no kind of lubrication for your entrance to IT, but it helps a real lot. PT Start example shows us that there's a number of stages, and in the middle of the second stage, people would get offers and successfully pass the interviews in the other cybersec companies just because of the knowledge they received during the internships to be, accepted as a junior. So a great thing, very much recommended. I know there's a new recruiting process currently running, and there's another one starting this year, networking. That's events like ours, just listening is not enough. Be sure to talk to people, and if not getting useful networking, useful connections, just join the community, just, start speaking IT language. Because not that you would get somewhere without any interview, but at least you will be different from the herd. There's a million candidates applying for some job, for some vacancy. They don't have a face, just many people. the different resumes, not very much distinguishable from each other. So if you know someone, if the person has, fire in their eyes and interested in specific topics, helps a real lot. They can offer you a job just because someone remembers you. And of course, if you succeed or not in the job, there's no guarantee. So knowing people, meeting people is very much recommended. Usually people would agree and support. People in general are quite good. Why is it important? If the recruiter has a pack of resumes in front of him or her, he can split them and throw away one half. And regarding the question, answering the question about those people he threw away, he would say, like, why do we need those unlucky people? And that's very true. Random plays a big role. So if they know you personally, you'll be much more lucky. One more thing that I recommend is don't forget about the drive. Don't forget about motivation. If you don't like reading API calls to Linux at night, don't do it. Do something that attracts you. It's a much more interesting event, a much more interesting thing to participate in stand-up. The people who participate in it, they don't go there for the job. They go there because it's fun, because they get new knowledge, and because they learn a lot of things during the practical exercise with adrenaline. There are hackathons, CTFs. Many cyber specialists would know that people go there just for fun. And in parallel, they get soft skills, hard skills, everything they need to get a job.
Ну и опять же, да, если вы и так крутой, то вам ничего не надо. Если вы, опять же, умеете в ядро Linux, то...
If you know how to program Linux core, yeah, of course, just come to work for me. If you know container security, things that is not very popular in Russia, but something that I do, send me a message. I'll be happy to hire you.
Из этого исходит довольно-таки логичное предположение. Если у вас есть уникальный навык,
but also if you have a unique skill that is probably not needed everywhere, but there are places where you can apply this skill and you are good in this skill. It's often a senior with 8 years of experience who was doing very basic things in terms of, the depth of their knowledge, and you were just interested in, writing a diploma about it. Just find people who are interested in that. Don't go to some default place, some, online store. Well, actually, they do have high-load tasks that they don't know how to tackle. But anyways, don't listen to advice. If you are cool, you don't need anything. If you are really skilled, you'll be able to find a job. And at some point in time, there will be a stage when you will burn out. You will know that, thermal death of the universe is inevitable, knowledge leads to craziness, and, you just need to breed geese. It's okay. You should not be worried about it right now, but someday in the evening, when you're tired of, learning some specific IT book by heart, just think over what you would like to do when you don't need any money or some very good job with a friendly team. Just think it over. What would you like to do in 20 years? Just being a developer. Even then, every sportsman should become, a coach. Everything will change. You will probably find another option, but it's a good idea to dream. It's a good idea to think forward. Would you like to be a boss with other bosses coming and, pushing you? Or some top-level tech specialist, like an architect, because you can develop as a manager and as a technical specialist. The consensus will be that definitely all the bosses are assholes and all the individual contributors are lazy guys. But dreaming about what comes in 20 years is important. And don't overthink those things like burning out and who am I going to be in 20 years? Definitely, don't overthink them. Just find a job. And since you are here still, and you're not my wife that came to support me, focus your time on finding a job. There's a lot of nice projects you could choose. Quality learning rather than quantity learning. Deepen your skills in the areas where you can become more than just a padawan and just a junior. And keep trying. Do not stop trying. If you do those three things, in case you find yourself in the group of the people who think similarly, that's not a guarantee. It's not 100% success. But definitely this all will increase your chances. Are you going to be a boss or change countries or burn out? Those questions you will have some time to answer. I think that's enough. Thanks much. Nikita, thank you very much. Very realistic view on the things. For those whose head is in the sky, this won't happen, but there are options, and you have drawn a good roadmap for us. Thank you. So let's learn what's happened with the survey, why the girls like IT guys. Of course, 73% voted for the money. Money rules. Why would you need money? Yeah, there will come a time. We do support it. Dear girls, do support and do like your IT guys. Whether they will set up your Windows or help you with gaming.